Oh, good morning and welcome to the preview for Wednesday's meeting at Sha Tin. Now, it's a day meeting. It's a mix of turf and all-weather track. It's been pouring with rain for oh, quite a few hours now. The track's going to have the sting out of it. As always, when the rain comes on the all-weather track, they put it up as slow or slushy. It's more like races like a dead track. The turf side of it probably going to be good to yielding, which is almost like dead. There's unraced in races 4 and 5, so that rules us out of any TT action. There's a small jackpot in the 6-up, which we will be playing in. The rest of the card is average. Race 1's a Griffin race with unraced, so we're not interested there. We go to race 2. Take the Rap. Now, this runs its best races on this all-weather surface. The problem is barrier 10 and D White. It's going to be under the odds, but it is a winning chance. Forza. Now, this is trialled really well, but it has done this before. It's a bit of a risky thing, this, but it'll go forward. Barrier 2, Mosse, it could lead these. It's a chance. I wouldn't be taking single figures about it, but it's a chance in a race like this. Kowloon East King. This has run one good race, one bad race, one good race, one bad race. It's been doing it all season. It's probably due to run up by a good race from barrier 1. Should get onto the speed. It's got a chance. Dragon Choice. It won well enough last start. This is no harder. It's drawn well. Pure Victory's another one that's trialled well. It's run a couple of reasonable races on the all-weather, but this is your typical Class 5 field of absolute crabs. Wouldn't be getting too involved in this. Anyway, from the point of view of having a look at the race, I've got 9 on top. Take the Rap from 4, 7, 3, 2, chances to 11 and 12, but a race I don't like. Race 3, the other Class 5 of the day. Same old gangsters here. We've seen them all year. Perfect Joy. It's drawn well enough to get a good run on the speed. It'd give it some chance. Runs well here. Although overall its form's pretty ordinary anyway, but I mean in a field of absolute goats, this is probably one of the better ones. Plot Ratio, now it handles this surface well. The distance is the biggest concern with it, but it'll get back on a reasonable tempo. The Goldman YY is the interesting one. It's dropped down into a race it can finally win. It's put in enough bad runs that they've dropped it down to Class 5. It was an interesting run last start. He looked like he was going to be in the finish at around the 300, and then he got a shit mixer and knocked it out of the race. It's working well, so yeah, maybe a chance at a price here. Gold Tartini. Now, the last 2 runs have been interesting with this. They've gone a long way back and come running home. Interesting to note that when it won, it never settled anywhere near that far back. I mean, 2 starts ago, it was last coming around the corner in the 1650 here on the wet track where nothing was making any ground, but it had barrier 12 that day and Chadwick was on it. Next started Drew barrier 1. They went forward. It was a reasonable run, probably ridden a little bit too close for my liking, but now with Fury on it, he's riding well. I'll give this a chance from barrier 3. Of the rest, Tipperary Devore. Ice Fire trialled well and goes good on this surface. Again, a race I don't like. 8 on top, Perfect Joy from 10 Gold. Goldman YY. Number 5, Gold Tartini. 11 Plot Ratio, chances to 1 and 6. As I said, races 4 and 5 unraced, so we're not interested there. We go to race 6. This is the first leg of the 6-up. This is a very tough race. It's on the all-weather over the 1650. Plain Red Banner's probably going to lead from barrier 1. Expect it to ping out to the front. Handsome Bachelor should come across with it. These look the speed. They both handle this surface, so you'd have to give them a chance. Ole, again, another one that handles this surface well. A little bit of water around won't do its chances any harm at all. Chater the Cat, been out of form its last 3 or 4 runs, but comes back to the right surface for it, goes in at a price. Royal Knight Follow the Wind, both got a chance. Princess Sunshine's an interesting one for me. It's trialled well, and then its track work good. I think this one goes in at a price. This could be the blowout horse. This will probably be a fairly wide leg for us. 8 on top from 14-2, chances to 4, 7, 3 and 9. Race 7, another tough race. Not much form here. Kaya, this has started in the market at its 2 runs. Got beaten favourite first start. Then got back behind Mr. Nocky and was made a bit of ground late. Probably just about ready to win this. It's got a good chance. Amazing Always. Again, another one that's going to get back in the run. It was a reasonable run last start because Apollo Cavalier went quite slow in the middle stages and they sort of started reefing and pulling at the back of the field. So for it to make some ground was a reasonable run. Affection. Now this is an interesting one. This has probably thrown away a couple of races with mad behaviour in the straight. Runs around all over the place. Barrier 1 should get onto the speed. Hopefully Berry gives it a reasonable ride. It's the first time it's drawn a marble for a while, so it's got a good chance in a race like this. Beauty King, always running on. Never puts 2 runs together. That's the problem with it. Of the rest, probably Grand Champion, Compact Yarn. Anyway, in the end, 4 on top from 5, 14, 10, chances to 9, 8, 11 and possibly 3. Race 8, Class 3, down the straight. Not a lot of chances in this for mine. Mr. Gourmet runs up to its first upwind. It'll win again. Barrier 12 is perfect. It'll be out on the right side of the track. Dame Patrol would have loved it if it had drawn another couple of marbles out, but it'll get to the front anyway. With 50 kilos, it'll give them something to catch. It'll be a price as usual. And Psychologist. Now, this is drawn the right side of the track. Don't worry about its stats, 8 for nothing at this track. A lot of those runs were in races where it had absolutely no hope in Class 2 level. So it's back down to the right level and it's drawn the right side of the track, back to the 1,000 metres. A piece of track work the other morning where it reeled up 22. That's good enough. If it runs up to that, it'll be in the finish. 12 on top from 6 and 10. There's a couple of newcomers to Hong Kong racing here in the 3 and the 4, Glamorous Honour and Spitfire. Both have trialled and are working well. Spitfire's drawn the right side of the track, maybe going to give them something there early. But in the end, 12 on top, probably be a banker for us. 6 and 10, the next best chances. Small chances to 8, 3, 4. Race 9. My favourite was impressive enough last start. Drawn Barrier 1. No reason to see why it couldn't win this. It's dropping 6 kilos for the kick up to Class 3. That's going to help it. It's the one to beat. And again, a possible anchor. Winnie's Horse and Super Jockey, both going well enough, both drawn well. That's the key in this race, I think. Season Star. Now, this has got a bit of ability, this horse, but finds it a little bit difficult to put it together. Needs speed. If they put a bit of speed on, he's got to go back from 11. He could be coming home late. Of the rest, 2 and 7 and 4 have got some chance. But 11 on top clear from 3 and 5. And then the next group, 8, 2, 7 and 4. Race 10. Difficult race. Many chances. None of them are in form. Dr. Good Abbott won last start. I suppose if it runs up to that, it's going to win again. It'll be under the odds, I suppose. But anyway, we're looking at a 6 up, so it goes in. Peppermint has been working well. Hasn't had a run for a couple of months, but it's got a chance in a race like this. Winning Instinct's won 3 of its last 4. The barrier's not going to help it from out there. Same applies with Great Story. Gryffindor's an interesting one. There was a bit of money for this at long prices last start. and I think it was, I don't know, 80s into 20s or something. His track work has been reasonable since then. It could be a bit of a smoky at a price. And Jimson the best, the old dog. His track work, he's reeled up, broke 22 the other morning. He might be getting back to a little bit of form. We're throwing him in at a price. In the end, I've got 14 on top from 7, 1, 12, chances to 5, 9 and 6. The last race, this is the key. The two favourites are stepping up to the all-weather track, which they've never been on. The favourite will be Flagship 9, probably with Douglas White on it. It's got 2 negatives for me. The step up in distance and the all-weather track, and of course him and favourite. I think there's a chance of a blowout here. I think the favourite can get rolled. Obviously, we'll have a ticket with it, but there's a good chance that we could get a result in this race. Perfect Cheers is the one. Now, it handles this surface. It works on it really well. So, from barrier 5, should get a good run on the speed. I think that's got a terrific each-way chance at a price. Champagne Days goes best on this surface. The distance is the query. 1800 probably would have been better, but the 1650 at this stage is okay. Racing Hero has been out of form for a little bit now. He's freshened it up, 5 weeks off. Track work's been good. Goes well on this surface. It's a chance. Obviously, Flagship 9 from barrier 4. If it runs the 1650 and handles the dirt track, you know, you'd have to give it a reasonable chance. It's had one start on a wet track for a placing, and the wet track does tend to play a little bit like the dirt. So, you know, it's 50-50 whether it's going to handle it or not. So I certainly wouldn't want to be taking evens about it anyway. Why not? Hasn't been on this surface, but obviously handles the trip really well. And of the rest, King of Reason, probably the bugbear to the race because it's going to go forward and may drive something crazy up front. In the end, and looking for a bit of value, I've gone for 4 Perfect Cheers from 12 Champagne Days, 2 Flagships Shine, 14 Racing Hero. I think they're the 4 main winning chances. Small chances to 1, 9, 6 and 8. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck to all of us tomorrow. It's a day meeting, so I think the first race kicks off at around 12:30. Thanks for tuning in, guys.